First, congratulations to our buddy Dan Bongino, the FBI Deputy Director. That's a very important post. That's really the hands-on position in many respects, because the director has so many responsibilities above and beyond. And so, as I recall my days at the Department of Justice, that deputy position is ever so important, and I can't think of anybody better. And these reports out there that, the agents are disappointed, they're worried. Agents, the media, talking to 7 of their best friends over there who are obviously leakers and reprobates. I'm sure the agents are happy. I'm sure they're thrilled that there is new management in Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. In fact, I can't think of any better team than that. And then Pam Bondi as Attorney General. These are serious people. Very serious people. The experience Bondi has, Patel has, Bongino has is exactly what's needed. No nonsense law and order types. It's amazing, isn't it? The media. Well, the media lie. I mean, how many more examples do we need? How many more years do we have to prove it to ourselves? We don't. And as you know, I've been behind this microphone talking for quite some time now about Joy Reid. I've been wondering how she manages to hang on to a TV show, even though it's on Msnbc, which fewer and fewer people watch, primetime. And I've played clips of her, the horrendous, bigoted things that she has said, in my humble opinion. And I've just been amazed that any company will put her out front like this. A raving lunatic, in my view. And I've said for a long time, they ought to give her the hook. She needs to go. She's very, very dangerous to this country, the things that she says. Well, she got the hook, apparently. She got the hook, and I want you to hear from her own mouth, Hat Tip Town Hall, what she had to say about it. Cut 2, go.
My show had value, and that...
excuse me. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It had no value whatsoever. None. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I would just say is...
There's a Karen? That's pretty amazing, isn't it, Mr. Producer? Does she mean Whoopi Goldberg, whose real name is Karen? I have no idea. Go ahead.
That in the end, thank you, where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter. You didn't go hard.
You went insane. You went insane. Things you said, endless references to Hitler, pushing the whole racism and racialism agenda, just constant, among many other things. I can't think of a single profound thing you said, actually. Go ahead.
A young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted, and not just black folks.
You mean targeted by Biden at Harvard? Who went into the Supreme Court, the Biden regime? Asian students brought a lawsuit that they were being discriminated against in these 2 colleges, and Harvard, and the other one I think was North Carolina, but I could be wrong about that. In terms of their applications in the Biden regime and the Democrat Party and their media, when the Supreme Court said, no, that's discrimination, were absolutely apoplectic. Whose side were you on there, Joy? Go ahead.
For immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life, and defended them.
Now, they didn't just come to the country. If people came to the country to make a life and came through legally, there's no issue. And there's a lot of people who do that, and they do it every year. A lot of people. And that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Nobody's talking about that. At least I'm not. We're talking about people who do this illegally, people who game the system. Biden on down, the leaders of other countries in Central and South America and throughout the planet, actually. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution.
The president isn't doing anything that's subversive to the Constitution. You've been confused with your hero, Biden. There's nothing subversive to the Constitution being done. You know, the Democrat Party exists as a subversive party that's anti-Constitution, anti-Declaration, and anti-America's founding. They've been preaching this to us for decades and with a new intensity in the last few years. They trash the people of America, you. They trash the founders of America. They trash the Constitution and those who framed it, drafted it, adopted it. They trash the Constitution itself as an old document, an unworkable document, the white man's quote-unquote document, and on and on and on. You know this. They attack key elements of the Bill of Rights. They attack separation of powers. They use the 14th Amendment in ways it was never intended to be used. They want activist, radical judges on the court who will not comply with the Constitution. So what does she mean about Trump, subversive to the Constitution? Go ahead.
That is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole
nobody's defending books that people find inconvenient. See what I mean? She was nothing but a propagandist. It's good she's gone. We have enough of those on MSNBC, CNN, and elsewhere. People are opposing graphic, perverse, sexualized books and education for little kids in our public schools, our government schools, against the knowledge and the will, when they know about it, of the parents. Those are the books that we want removed from our libraries. We used to call it pornography. We're not talking about fictions and so forth and so on, mainstream fictions. We're talking about real sleaze, real sleaze. And they call this book burning, and that they're defending these books like there's a real war on books. Really? You can get any book you want. Go on Amazon, go into a library if you still do that sort of thing. Get any book you want. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about books that are filled with filth, absolutely inappropriate for young children. The manipulation of young children, the sexualization of young children, it's disgusting. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Put into our spirit that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country.
It's not the real founding of the country. It's a deeply defective and flawed group of essays, propaganda, that some of the greatest living historians have condemned, even some who are left of center. It is a lie about the reason America was founded. America wasn't founded to enshrine slavery into our country. That's not why America was founded. And this is my point to you, Mr. and Mrs. America. She trashes our country. She embraces all these radical, hate-filled movements and books and all the rest. And then she wants you to think she's standing up for the Constitution. She wants you to think she's standing up for the country. She's a mess, among other things. Go ahead.
Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And
you have a right to object to little babies being bombed. And you have a right to tell the truth about who started that war, about who hides behind their little babies, about who puts their weapons and their terrorists in hospitals, in schools. You have a right to tell the truth. You're a liar. You're the Tokyo Rose of today for Hamas and other terrorists, in my humble opinion. Go ahead.
Come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that
Good.
I stood.
Goodbye. You're a sorry person, but you're not sorry. We don't really care. We don't really care. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I won't be on this program forever. I won't be on Fox forever. I won't be anywhere forever. And that's okay. But I truly will be proud of everything I've done and everything I've said, everything I've written. I truly will be. She's a disgrace. And the fact that she had a position on a major network, or at least a format, a platform that was owned by a massive company, is an embarrassment. A true embarrassment. I don't dance on somebody's bad luck, but this isn't bad luck. This is a bad person. She's learned nothing. She'll never learn anything. She's filled with anger and hate. She was filled with anger and hate before she got to Msnbc, and she was blogging online, and she's filled with anger and hate when she was at Msnbc, and she'll be filled with anger and hate for the rest of the time, at least her time. Good riddance.